Well, hello, Twin Cities and all across Minnesota. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jeffrey Asamoah with Thrivedge Solutions. I'm a business consultant and credit specialist. But today it's not about me. It's about a very important subject, topic, or conversation on divorce. Now, this topic impacts so many families in our communities. And fortunately for you, I'm not the one being able to share insight on it. I'm honored to be joined by Christy Thompson of ChristieLegal, a highly experienced paralegal and mediator in divorce and child custody. Christy is someone you will want to hear from and get to know. Christy, welcome.
Hi, it's good to see everybody today.
Awesome. So, Christy, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you do what you do.
So I live in the Twin Cities and with my daughter and my fiance Lonnie and his daughter. And I have been doing my work for 13 years. I used to work under attorneys, and then 12 years ago, I started Christie Legal. Um, I was asked to do that by someone in the legal field because we want to keep people out of the litigative court process as much as possible. And I am a paralegal and a mediator, not an attorney, which means, I can do certain work and then there's certain work that I cannot do. The advantage of working with me is that I work with both parties, so it's not a battle, it's a collaboration. That allows both parties to save a lot of money. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars and save a lot of time in the court process. I'm talking at least 6 months.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And Christy, thank you for clarifying the difference between what you do and an attorney, because that's definitely, a question I wanted to ask, but I'm glad you were able to clarify that. All right, now got another question for you, Christy. What is the, or not that, well, all right, how are assets divided during divorce?
Yeah, so well, first of all, let's talk about what are assets.
Okay.
So, anything that you folks purchased during the marriage is an asset, and anything that accrued in the financial accounts, be it bank accounts, investment funds, retirement accounts, all that stuff, anything that accrued in there during the marriage is a marital asset other than a few exceptions, which are non-marital assets. Those exceptions would be things that you were gifted or inherited during the marriage. So, like if your parents gifted you a car, or you inherited, let's say, $100,000 retirement fund from one of your grandparents, those would be non-marital assets, and those are not divided during the divorce process. Everything else is divided during the divorce process. And the laws of Minnesota say that the assets shall be divided equitably. That is usually interpreted by precedent and laws to mean equally. There are, exceptions to the equally for a variety of reasons. And so when I'm helping folks, what I do is I get the information from them of, what is their house worth after the mortgage is subtracted, the money that was put into the financial accounts during the marriage, the values of their cars minus the loans, if they have a rental property, an investment property, um, all the things in the house. So we create a marital asset spreadsheet with what each person owns, and then what the folks own together, and they decide what they're keeping, and then we put numbers in that spreadsheet, and then we see how equally it turns out being. And if it's not equal, then we say, okay. So, Jim has $50,000 more than Sue, and, let's figure out how we want to change this. And we start with, liquid assets, moving liquid assets around so that we don't have to deal with paying taxes and penalties for retirement funds, unless that's the only option. And sometimes that is. And so there are a lot of pieces and it's a puzzle, and we just move them around until the puzzle looks pretty good. And it's never going to look great because, you know, clue, nobody likes giving up half their stuff.
At all, at all. And that's actually, I believe, one of the issues where of why some people don't want to get married, right? Because they feel that, hey, in a situation where this thing doesn't go well, I'm gonna lose everything, or I'll
Yeah.
lose half of everything, right? So at least I'm glad there's a civil process and a legal process to be able to help solve this type of situation. Cool.
Yeah, and for the people out there who own businesses,
Mm,
I can connect you to business valuators that can do anything from a simple to a more complex business valuation, depending on number one, what type of business you have, and number two, like, how serious you folks want to take um, valuing the business. And if you both agree, we can even use a simple process I've created for valuing businesses, only if they are, not complex businesses. So owning a business during divorce doesn't have to be like a huge stressful ordeal.
that's good to know. That's very good to know. Awesome. Cool. Well, Christy, so I'll ask this other question too, and if you already answered, you can just kind of tap into it. So we talked about how assets are divided, right? How about debts? Are they also divided in the exact same way? Can you share a little bit of light on that?
Well, they are actually not,
Oh,
which really surprises people. Because you're like, well, wait a minute. If it's fair to share the assets equally, wouldn't it be fair to share the debts equally?
should be.
And so, but the thing about it is that so when you're, when you're done with your marriage and you have all these various debts, first of all, we, get all the debts and we list them out, who, created them and what the amounts are. And then we add it all up. And then what we do is the law in Minnesota says that assets are divided based upon ability to pay. And what ability to pay means is whoever earns more has a greater ability to pay. And at first glance, this seems like, well, that's not fair. Just because I earn more, I have to take more of this debt, especially if you created less of the debt.
Yeah.
But the principle behind this is the couple could have $50,000 of debt that is not a mortgage, and one of the parties could only earn $25,000 a year. So imagine being someone who earns $25,000 a year and being ordered to pay $25,000 of debt. That would be like, oh my gosh, I am barely surviving anyways on 25. Or even like nowadays, even like $50,000 a year is like not a lot of money, especially if you have kids. And I mean, housing's so expensive and everything's going up. And so to even be earning like $50,000 a year and be like, guess what? You just got $25,000 of debt that you are responsible for on your own. Ooh, I mean, definitely, um, someone who helps folks like you do, Jeffrey, would be able to help that person, but that person is going to be paying off that debt forever. And, at $25,000 and their small income. Whereas, if you have a partner who, earns $250,000 a year, getting that $25,000 of debt, I mean, it's not great, but that person will be able to handle that debt incredibly better than the person who earns $25,000 a year. And so the court does it this way because it makes it easier for the lesser earning person to move forward in life. And in all honesty, it makes it easier for creditors to actually get paid because, like looking at it from the creditor's point of view, oh man, how am I going to get my $25,000 from this person who earns $25,000 a year? I'm not.
Yeah, wow. No, that's a very solid breakdown, and I really appreciate that. And I know others will definitely find value in this too. But it does make somebody realize that at least if this is your situation, this is what you're going through, there are ways out of it, right? And it doesn't, you don't necessarily need to go into the marriage thinking this is it. Now, I got so much more questions to ask, honestly, because a lot of questions are coming through, but we'll save that for another time, and I'll be able to, just really, because we just want people to have value, right? A community to know what you're doing, at the same time for others again who are going through situations to know that there's someone they can connect with, and they don't have to go through this alone. All right. So with that said, Christy, thank you. Thank you for taking your time for sharing this information with us. All right. So thank you everybody else too for watching. Now, if you found this conversation helpful, share it with someone who might need it and stay connected for more real conversations like this. Thank you.
Thank you.